So after you graduate, your nursing school will basically sign you off saying that you are clear to take the NCLEX. You register with Pearson VUE and you basically just get signed up to take the NCLEX. Hopefully you can take it pretty soon after you graduate. I hear statistically you do better if you take it soon after graduation rather than waiting a long time. So I just took the NCLEX recently and I passed, so thank all that is good, I passed. When you take the NCLEX, basically you're taking an exam that could be anywhere from 75 questions to 200 and I wrote it down, 65 questions. It's a test. No one has the same exact test. The test keeps changing based on how you're answering questions. So if you're getting harder and harder questions correct, it's gonna keep giving you the harder questions. If you're missing questions, it might give you some easier questions. So the minimum amount of questions that you will take on the NCLEX is 75. The maximum you can take is that 265. And what's crazy is that the NCLEX, it will just shut off whenever it thinks that you've missed too many questions, that you can't go on and you failed, or you've answered correctly so many questions that you don't need to answer anymore. So mine shut off at 75, which from what I hear, I think is a good sign, meaning you've got enough correct that it shuts off at 75, you don't need to do anymore. So that was cool. But you never know. There have been people that failed when it shuts off at 75. If you've just missed too many, that it won't let you go forward. It shuts off as well. But then I've heard that people pass, and they've taken over 200 questions. It depends for everybody. It's different for everybody. Now, when talking about the NCLEX, I can't say what I saw on the NCLEX or recreate anything that's illegal, and you can lose your nursing license. So you're not supposed to ever say what you saw on the NCLEX or talk about any specifics like that. So the stuff that I will say is general stuff that your nursing professors should hopefully be telling you. Mine told me this type of stuff. If not, I'm going to tell you right now. The best way to study for the NCLEX is to just do a bunch of practice NCLEX questions. Get your mind in that zone where you're reading questions, you can think NCLEX style, prioritizing, figuring out what is the most correct answer, things like that. It is good to study or practice select all that apply type questions because you do see those on the NCLEX. You might see a lot of them, you might not see, I don't know if you won't see any, or you might just see a few of them. It depends person to person. In my view, if I saw a select all that apply question, I felt like I was getting stuff right because I think we can all agree that select all that apply questions are harder. So if I was getting harder questions, I felt like, okay, the test thinks I'm doing good. It's giving me harder and harder stuff. So you might see a lot of select all that apply. That's all I'm going to say. But that's what, that's the same stuff that my professors told us, practice tons of questions, practice the select all that apply type questions, and you don't really need to go back and re-review stuff just like you studied for other tests. Just do the practice questions.
I forgot to mention this, but when I studied, I did go back and review lab values as well as common meds, the med endings, and the common actions of those meds. But other than that, I just did the practice NCLEX questions.
I, for the most part, used this book. This book, the Saunders NCLEX review book, came with a CD, and I use that CD for the most part. There's a study mode where you can answer a question, immediately see the answer and the rationale for the right answer. That was my favorite. This is a good book too. It just goes over stuff, has more questions in this book. I did purchase this off of Amazon.com, Exam Cram. That is a bright light. Anyway, just wanted to focus on my face, not on the book. this book, I did about 300 questions from this book, Exam, Cram, NCLEX, RN. And it also came with a CD that turns out only works on a PC, and I have a Mac, so that sucked. But the questions were good for the most part, but after doing like 300 questions, I found like 7 questions that were completely just written wrong, or the answer didn't match up with the question. So I don't know if I really give this book a good review, because it had errors in it. Like, you would have a question and some multiple choice answers. When you go to the answers, it's saying that the answer was none of those multiple choice options. Like, it just didn't match up. So there were errors like that in this book. And that's all I really did to study for the NCLEX. You can go do those outside review courses that you pay for, and they teach you how to, prepare for the NCLEX and study for the NCLEX, and how to read questions and, reason through the answers and figure out what's right and things like that. So if you feel like you need to do that, a lot of classmates did do that, and that's cool. I didn't want to. I was like done paying for any more learning sessions like that. So I just did the Saunders CD for the most part in that Exam, Cram. And then my friend, fellow classmate, she bought a board game where you had to ask each other NCLEX style questions, and your little board game piece could move along if you got it right. That was cool. So I don't know what that was called, but you can probably find it on Amazon or something. And yeah, so I ended up passing the NCLEX, which was great. Mine shut off at 75 questions, and you have to go through a 2-day waiting period before you can get your quick results. In some states, they let you do that. I guess not in all states. But after 2 days, you can get on to the Pearson VUE NCLEX site and sign in, and you can see if you passed or you failed, which is nice. It's the longest 2 days that I've ever had to go through. You're panicking because you just don't know if you passed or failed, but turns out I passed. And I actually just got offered a position in the CCU, the coronary care unit of a hospital around here, so I've accepted that position, and now I'm just getting ready to start orientation and start that job. So I don't know, to sum everything up, just if you're in nursing school, keep pushing through. You can do it. You can become an RN, pass that NCLEX, and become a nurse. Just get to that next stage where you get hired and you start on the job orientation. A lot of new nurses, you'll have to start night shift. I'm going to be starting night shift, but I'm okay with that. It'll be kind of exciting, I think. I hear at nighttime it's a little more calmer. So night shift might not be that bad for a new grad. You're still going to get to have a preceptor for a good period of time. At my hospital, it's anywhere from, I think they said 8 weeks to 18 weeks of preceptor, paired up training. So that's really cool. Can't really think of anything else to say. So stay tuned for more vlogs, possibly about nursing stuff. If people want to hear more about nursing stuff or have questions about stuff, you can leave comments in the bottom, or talk amongst yourself in the comments. That's what I noticed a lot of people do, so that's cool. And yeah, or else I'll probably be making vlogs just about stuff that I like from my personal life too. So anyways, see you later. Subscribe and stuff.